One of the more frequent questions I've gotten in the last 4 years on videos or streams, more than tires or gearboxes, would be which engine should I use? And the answer is tough because there's so many vehicles and also different factors as gearboxes and other things that go into this equation, and I believe it just really all depends. In SnowRunner, let's be real, we all want a very strong vehicle that is very efficient, but that's not always the case. Usually you have to trade one for the other. And I think with this simple test here, I can kind of show you what you should do in certain situations. During my first hard mode endeavor, I tested downgrading engines to maximize efficiency, and I quickly came to the conclusion swiftly after 2 regions. The short version of this, and I brought this up in my recent review of the FLD and the 6900 XD, which you will see in this video as well, is that less power to weight can cause an engine to burn more or similar levels as an upgraded engine just due to working harder longer. The phrase I call this is lack of power to weight overhead, meaning the vehicle already is expending a considerable amount of effort just to move its own weight, and then when you add to that, it becomes worse. Today in this trial, I'm going to show you an example of a low power to weight vehicle, a mid to higher-ish power to weight vehicle, and some special cases. These trials will be conducted with the same tire sets, loads, and gear settings with exception to changing engines for the comparison, of course. The first example is the new Western Star 6900 XD, which even with its top engine has a low power to weight, which is noted in my review. During this first run, we used a 12 metric ton add-on for the 6900 XD. The times trended here where I thought they probably would lie, with the highest power rating of the 3 engine options getting to the finish line quicker. As we decreased power options, the times got worse. Fuel was the other measurement we had, and we saw a very small fuel savings, but the lowest torque option actually burned more fuel and was slowest due to struggling more to move the truck through the course. The second trial, I added a hitch trailer, and we observed pretty much the same trend with slower times and more fuel burn. With low power to weight vehicles like this, the engine is working hard pretty much the whole time without reprieve, and it gets worse when we continue to lower its power. The last engine option actually needed to shift to low because of wheel lockup. If the 6900 XD wasn't aided in having heavy tires like most, it probably would have been where the test ended because the vehicle's tires locked up completely in low plus, and I shifted to low and actually just budged out of there. Trucks with heavy tires can get away with having lower power to weight a little more than ones with medium tire weights because of the aid in pulling power with weight increase in tires. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, please go check out this video. When we compare the FLD in our next set, it's very clear that power to weight is a factor when it comes to fuel consumption. The Freightliner FLD 120 trends to be very good power to weight. I would say it's right below what I would consider high power to weight. So in these trials with both add-on and trailer attached, you see there's very little fuel savings to be had because the truck is out on the course longer when we use lesser power options. Keep in mind that this course is uphill and has some moderately deep snow parts causing drag. The last 2 trucks we just shown, the 6900 XD and the Freightliner FLD 120, are just showing the general rule of thumb, which is essentially just choose power over a lesser engine which has better efficiency, because the power is going to be almost as efficient with better timings. But I do have to say there are instances where you can choose lesser engines and be more efficient. I think it's dependent on terrain. If it's light like dirt roads or paved roads, and those power options don't have to be as much. Also, you have to consider the load that you're carrying. In SnowRunner, in most cases, upgrades come with a trade-off. A raised suspension gives you ground clearance at the expense of raising your center of gravity. Engine torque upgrades also usually trade efficiency for power. With power upgrades, usually you see higher base consumption, and that's also noted in the files if you check out some spreadsheets. But in some very special cases, which are a super rare thing, increasing power can also come with increased efficiency. In this case, the CT681's exclusive engine puts out more than 18,000 more torque than the 2700T, leading to better times, and I have to note also it is more efficient. Keep in mind that this is an extreme outlier. This is not a normal thing in the game. This occurrence is rare, and also Sabre has incorporated special exclusive gearboxes to influence consumption as well. Usually on my reviews, if that is the case, it will be noted there. As you can see here though, the only option in my humble opinion is the clear winner, which is the largest engine, giving the fastest times and less fuel burn. On the other hand, this will be my last trial to show you guys, and this is another specialized case, but sometimes downgrading can be the better move. If a vehicle has very high power to weight, like small 6x6s, 4x4s, or even Scouts, you can downgrade and still retain enough power and have the benefits of efficiency. Another special scenario, like I just mentioned, is the Step 310 Echo. Its Voin engine, while being 35k less than the Laz TA240, its efficiency is better and you still can perform and push the mission. While this test shows a small margin of victory for a 5-minute trial, this can add up over time, especially on hard mode. So in general, when it comes to downgrading engines for efficiency, I'd say in most cases, just choose power and incorporate fuel-saving techniques like switching off all-wheel drive when you don't need it or mission chaining. Like I've also said before, there are certain maps and areas that more efficient, less powerful engines can be advantageous, but personally, I'm more of a set it and forget it type of guy. Scouts and vehicles that have power to weights well above 20, I would say those are probably good candidates to consider downgrading power for efficiency. So in closing, I hope this video answered the age-old question here for the last 4 years: which engine should I use? I hope you enjoyed the video and potentially learned a few things along the way as well. So until next time, y'all, God bless and stay upright.